Hello friends, I am Samir Gomte. In this video, we will see terminology of spur gears. If you have not subscribed my channel yet, then please subscribe it. Now we'll start with the terminology of spur gear. Here you can see the two gears are in mesh. Okay. So the smaller of the two gear is called pinion and larger one is called a gear. The next point is pitch circle. So here you can see in this diagram, this is the pitch circle. So pitch circle is, it can be defined as, it is the imaginary circle which will give the same motion as that of the actual gear by pure rolling action. Why it is called imaginary circle? Because we cannot visualize it as we can visualize these two number of teeth, right? So in the same way I cannot visualize the pitch circle, so that's why it is called an imaginary circle. The next point is pitch circle diameter. So diameter of this pitch circle is called pitch circle diameter. The size of the gear is usually specified by the pitch circle diameter and it is denoted by small d. So it is denoted by small d. Now next point is pitch point. So in this diagram you can see here, this is the pitch circle of the pinion, this is the pitch circle of the gear. Okay, so when two gears are in mesh with each other, so their pitch circle will come in contact at one point, right? So the point at which these two pitch circles are coming in contact is called a pitch point. Okay. Then next point is pitch surfaces. So similar to pitch circles, these pitch surfaces are also imaginary surfaces. So this pitch surfaces is having some width, so same as that of the width of the gear. So here you can see the two gears are in mesh, right? So their pitch surfaces are shown. So the pitch surface can be defined as the pitch surfaces of the gears are imaginary planes or cylinders or cones that roll together without slipping. So there is a motion transmission from one pitch surface of one gear to the another pitch surface of another gear without slipping. Then next point is pressure angle. The pressure angle is denoted by phi. So this is the angle between the common normal of the two teeth at the point of contact and common tangent at the pitch point. So here in this diagram you can see this arrow is indicating common normal between two teeth in contact, right? One will be of pinion, one will be of gear. Okay, so the pressure angle is angle between common normal. So this is the common normal which is in the direction of this arrow, and between common normal and the common tangent at the pitch point. So we have already seen pitch point is the point of contact of two pitch circles, right? So this is the, here you can see this is the common tangent, right? And this is the common normal. So this is common normal and this is common tangent. So the standard values of pressure angles are 14.5 degree and 20 degree. Now next point is addendum. So in this diagram you can see here, this is the addendum. So it is the distance radially measured distance between the pitch circle and the top of the tooth. So the radial distance measured between pitch circle and top of the tooth is addendum. The next point is dedendum. So dedendum, similar to addendum, there is it is also a radial distance measured from, say this is the pitch circle to the bottom of the tooth. So radial distance between pitch circle and bottom of the tooth is dedendum. Then next point is addendum circle diameter. So here you can see addendum circle. So the circle passing through this top of the tooth is addendum circle, and diameter of this circle is called addendum circle diameter. The addendum circle diameter, it can be calculated as teeth circle diameter plus 2 times addendum values. So this is teeth circle diameter, right? So from one side there is a one value of addendum, and on the opposite side there is a one more addendum value. So addendum circle diameter is teeth circle diameter plus this addendum value plus addendum value at the bottom side, that is 2 times addendum value. So total addendum circle diameter is nothing but the teeth circle diameter plus 2 times addendum, right? Then next point is dedendum circle diameter. So you can see here the root or dedendum circle. It is also called a root circle or dedendum circle, which is passing through the bottom of the tooth, right, or root of the tooth. So this circle is called dedendum circle, and the diameter of this dedendum circle is called dedendum circle diameter, and it is calculated as again teeth circle diameter, but as the dedendum circle's diameter is smaller than the teeth circle diameter, so dedendum circle diameter is equal to teeth circle diameter minus 2 times dedendum value, right? Okay. Next point is circular pitch. So it is denoted by capital P suffix C. So you might have seen the pitch of the threads, right? So pitch of the threads you have measured along a straight line, right? But here in this case, as the gear is circular, so here we will measure pitch along the circle. And which circle? It is nothing but the pitch circle. So the distance, it is defined as the distance measured along the pitch circle. It is distance measured along the pitch circle from one point on one tooth to the corresponding point on the adjacent tooth. So then, as the name is circular pitch, we'll measure it along the circle. Which circle? Pitch circle. And it is the distance measured along this pitch circle from a point on one tooth to the corresponding point on the adjacent tooth, which is circular pitch. Okay. So the formula for circular pitch is pi d upon t. So here capital D is pitch circle diameter in mm, and capital T is number of teeths. Number of teeths on, it will be, if I consider a pinion, then it is number of teeth on pinion. If I consider gear, it is number of teeth on gear. So here D1, T1, D2, D2 are for say pinion and for gear. Suffix 1 is for pinion and suffix 2 is for say gear. So from this formula also we can apply some logic here. Okay. So pi d is nothing but the circumference of the circle. So circumference of pitch circle, right? So pi d is the circumference of pitch circle divided by number of teeth on that gear will give me the circular pitch, that is distance between corresponding same points on the adjacent teeth, right? Okay. Next point is diametral pitch. This diametral pitch, it is defined as number of teeth divided by pitch circle diameter in mm. So diametral pitch is defined as number of teeth divided by the pitch circle diameter in mm. So I can write it in terms of circular pitch also. So PD is equal to pi divided by PC. Okay. Or PC into PD is equal to pi. So if you have been asked the relation between circular pitch and diametral pitch, so it is PC into PD is equal to pi. Okay. Next point is module. It is denoted by small m. So it is defined as teeth circle diameter in mm divided by number of teeth. So as far as gear design is concerned, module is very important, because when you mesh two gears together, to mesh them properly, their module value should be same. Module value should be same means their d by t ratio should be same. So there are some recommended series of module according to Indian standards. So these are some values. Okay. So this is called first choice of module values. So there is also a second choice of modules are there. If these values do not fit, then we can use the second choice values. Okay. The next point is clearance. So here you can see a clearance, right? So this is again a radial distance. So it is defined as radial distance between top of one tooth and bottom of the other tooth when two gears are in mesh. Means, say here we have shown the teeth of one gear. Okay. Say suppose there is another gear here on the top which is in mesh with this. So its teeth will come here, right? Between these two teeth, right? The teeth of upper gear will come, right? So what its clearance is, the top of the one teeth, right? Means say this is the top gear is there above this, right? So its top will come here, right? At this dotted line, right? And the bottom of the second gear. So this is the bottom gear and its bottom line is this, right? So the radial distance between these two is nothing but the clearance. Okay. So next point is clearance circle. So the clearance circle is defined as the circle passing through the top of the meshing gear, right? So if I consider a top gear here, right? So gear number 1 and say gear number 2. So gear number 1 is here and gear number 2 is here. Okay. So the top of this gear will coincide with this line, right? So the circle passing through this top of the above gear is nothing but the clearance circle. So this is the clearance circle or working depth circle. Next point is total depth. So here you can see this is the total depth. So it is defined as this is the radial distance between addendum circle and dedendum circle of a gear. So for a same gear, if I measure a distance between the addendum circle and dedendum circle, so it is nothing but the total depth of the gear for a gear 2. So which is also equal to this addendum plus this dedendum, right? So total depth is equal to addendum plus dedendum, right? Then next point is working depth. So here you can see this is the working depth. So it is the radial distance again between say addendum circle and now instead of dedendum circle here it is clearance circle, right? So working depth is nothing but the radial distance between the addendum circle and the clearance circle. So it is also equal to addition of addendum of two meshing gears, that is say addendum of gear number 1 plus addendum of gear number 2 which are in mesh, so which is nothing but equal to working depth. Okay. Then next point is tooth thickness. So here you can see a tooth thickness. So it is thickness of the tooth measured along the teeth circle. Right? So this is the teeth circle and this is the thickness of the tooth. It is shown by red color. Okay. So it is measured along this teeth circle. Right? Then next point is tooth space. So here you can see a tooth space, right? So it is the width of space between two adjacent tooth. So this is one tooth and this is second tooth, which is adjacent to each other, and the space between the two tooths again measured along this teeth circle. So the width of space between two adjacent teeth measured along this teeth circle is nothing but the tooth space. Okay. Then next point is backlash. So here we can see a backlash. We have already seen tooth thickness and tooth space. So it is nothing but the difference between tooth space and tooth thickness. So this is the tooth space, right? Space between these two adjacent teeth is this tooth space, and the tooth thickness is this is the tooth thickness, right? So difference between this tooth space and tooth thickness is nothing but this backlash. So this backlash is again measured along the teeth circle. So this is the teeth circle, right? Generally the backlash is not recommended when the gears are manufactured. For two mating gears there should not be any backlash, but slight amount of backlash is recommended because the tooth should have some space to move between the tooth space of the mating gear tooth, right? If the space is not there, then the jamming of these two gears will occur. Okay, so slight backlash is recommendable. Okay. Then next point is face of the tooth. So here you can see face of the tooth. So it is surface of the tooth above each surface element. Okay, so this portion. So this is the teeth surface element. So teeth surface will be tangent to this teeth surface element, and the portion above this teeth surface element of the tooth surface is nothing but the face of the tooth. Okay. The next point is top line. So here you can see a top line. Okay. So it is nothing but the top surface of the tooth. Okay. So the top surface of the tooth is called the top line. The next point is flank of the tooth, similar to face of the tooth. So here you can see a flank, so which is again the surface of the tooth below this teeth surface element. Surface of the tooth below teeth surface element is called the flank. That is flank of the tooth. Then next point is face width. So here you can see this is the face width. So width of the gear measured parallel to the axis of the gear is nothing but the face width. So here you can see this distance, so width of the gear. So gear width measured parallel to the axis is called the face width. Okay. Then next point is profile, that is gear tooth profile. So it is defined as curve formed by face and flank of the tooth. So here you can see this red portion, right? So this is the curve formed by the face up to this teeth surface element, and below this teeth surface element the curve formed by flank. So this total curve is called the profile of the gear tooth. Okay. Then next point is fillet radius. So the fillet radius is defined as it is the radius which connects this profile of the tooth with the root or dedendum circle. Okay. So here you can see this is the tooth profile and this is the root circle, and to join these two there is this fillet radius. Right? So this portion is here also you can see this is the fillet radius which connects this tooth profile with this root of the circle. Then next point is path of contact. So it is defined as the path traced from the beginning to the end of the point of contact of the two teeth. So in this figure you will see this is the, here you can see now contact begins here, now it is there and it ends here. Okay, so the part traced by the point of contact from beginning of the engagement, here is the beginning of the engagement, to the end of the engagement is called the path of contact. So you will get more clear idea in the next point, that is length of path of contact. The next point is length of path of contact. So we have already seen this arrow is nothing but the common normal between the two contacting teeth, right? So this length of path of contact is common normal cut off by the addendum circles of two meshing gears. Okay. So this is a pinion. Its addendum circle is this, right? So this is the addendum circle of the pinion, and addendum circle of the gear is this, right? And this is the common normal, you can see. Okay. So the common normal is cut at the addendum circle of this gear at K and the pinion at L. So this distance K to L is nothing but the length of path of contact. So which is divided into two parts, that is KP and PL. So this is K to P and P to L. So KP is called length of path of approach and PL is called length of path of recess. Okay. So length of path of contact is addition of length of path of approach plus length of path of recess. Then next point is length of arc of contact. Before we see length of arc of contact, we should know what is arc of contact. So it is the point on teeth circle traced. So the point on teeth circle traced from beginning to the end of the engagement. So you can see here this is the teeth circle line. So this red line, it is the teeth circle line, right? So the distance traced along this teeth circle from beginning to end of the engagement is the arc of contact. So the beginning of engagement is at point G. So G, arc GPH is the length of arc of contact, which is measured along again this teeth circle. So how it is calculated? It is calculated by length of path of contact, that is Kp plus Pl divided by cos phi. So whatever the pressure angle, phi is what? Pressure angle. Whatever the pressure of angle of the gear is given. So length of path of contact is Kp plus Pl divided by cos phi will give me length of arc of contact. Okay. Again this length of arc of contact is made up of two parts. First one is arc of approach. So from G to P, that is arc G to P. This arc GP is nothing but the arc of approach. And second one is arc of recess. So arc PH is the arc of recess. So total length is nothing but the arc of approach plus arc of recess. If these two arcs are added, length of these arcs are added, I will get the length of the arc of the contact of two meshing gears. Then next point is contact ratio. It is also called number of pairs of teeth in contact, and it is given by length of arc of contact divided by circular pitch. So if I divide the length of arc of contact by circular pitch, I will get contact ratio or number of pairs of teeth in contact. Okay. So here we have completed the terminology of spur gear. Next point we will see is design consideration of gears. So design considerations of gears. For the design of any type of gear, we need the following design consideration. Okay. So what are those? We will see one by one. First one is power to be transmitted. So while designing the gear, we should know, or we should consider the power, how much power it should transmit, okay, before designing the gears. Okay. Next point we should consider is input velocity. So what is the input velocity of the say prime mover? Okay, that we should know. The next point is velocity ratio. So velocity ratio we should know, so that we can calculate from velocity ratio, as we already know input velocity, so we can calculate output velocity, right? So from either output velocity you should know, or you should know a velocity ratio before designing the gear. And the last point is center distance, that is the distance between the two meshing gears, right? So by considering center distance, we'll get an idea about how much space we are having for the gear design or gear assembly. Before designing any type of gear, we should know all these four quantities. So with this we'll stop in this video, and in the next video we'll see types of gear tooth failures. Okay, so if you have any queries, you can write it in the comment box, and again don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you.